my God. There we go. It's my day. Hello again and welcome to Leaders Uncut. It is so great for you to be here with us today. I am so grateful. And I'm so grateful today to have with me two incredible power women that are changing the world, that are having an incredible influence. And we have today Megan Miller and Dr. Brandi, who are the co-founders of Unleashed Leadership.org. Hello, Megan. Hello, Dr. Brandi. How are you doing today?
Doing well, Catherine. So excited to be here.
I know. I am so thrilled to have you here. My God, I love women like you because you, first of all, you inspire me. You give me the fuel to keep doing what I'm doing. And I know women are going to be critical going forward. We are actually changing the world. So let's start there. If you don't mind giving us a little bit of your background, why you started Unleashed together, and what is your goal this coming year? That would be wonderful.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that I have been focused on my entire career is really leadership. And right now we're at a critical time when you're thinking about the future of work where a lot of roles are going to be gone. But one of the things, and the McKinsey report noted this, PwC, leadership cannot be automated. Leadership cannot be taken over by AI. And so we actually, for me, that being my background and my passion, I went over to Megan and said, you know what, Megan, you're the science girl. You're the one with the research-backed tools. How can we come together and really design an experience for today's professional woman who does not want to get left behind in the future of work? And so that's where we sort of got together. And Megan, you can share a little bit more about sort of your background and how that adds to what we're doing at Unleashed.
Yeah. So if I can, I got to ditto the hype vibes here. Here is to consciously curating who you stand beside and evolve that as you evolve. I think that's one of the most courageous acts that we can do in a world that applauds conformity. So to double back on Dr. Brandi's point on what really brought this emergence together of both of our passions and missions, and my passion and mission is disrupting autopilot and anxiety and overwhelm, that it is not the price of admission to succeed. And why that is so important to me, Catherine, and the beautiful humans listening on Leaders Uncut is because I lived my life like that for 15 years in a hospitality industry, climbed the corner office, led the $1 billion organization, look at me go. And I had a breakdown at the height of my career and spoke it to no one, which spurred into our intentionality framework, which is the background of our science and our micro tool framework at Unleashed. And it took me 8 years of self-learning to get here and to learn it. And now we are on a mission to create awareness, to create intentional language, and to do the hardest dang thing, spring into action.
Yes, oh my God, it is so beautiful. And you just said such important things in a few sentences here. Turning micro moment decisions into profound shifts in self-leadership. So you have a lot that you're saying in this sentence. Sometimes, and too often, we think micro moments mean nothing and we ignore them, yet they shape our lives. So that's the first thing that I would like you to expand on, because I think it's a critical understanding that most people have a tendency to avoid or ignore.
Dr. Brandi, do you mind if I take this first and then hand it over to you?
Have to. You are the micro tools guru, so absolutely.
Girl, my pen's going over here a mile a minute because I'm like, before Catherine even finished that sentence, I was like, let me have that. Yeah. So, Catherine, you are preaching my language because we think it is the rip the Band-Aid off big moves. I got to quit the job. I got to file for the divorce. I got to go on this fast. And then guess what? You bring you to every situation, and true change, moving mountains, happens in these micro moments. So what do I mean by that? Catherine, there is research that shows that 3 minutes of what you consume will impact you for 7 to 8 hours.
Wow.
So I ask all of our beautiful listeners, when you crack open that eyelid in the morning, what's the first thing you go to? Is it scrolling through the social feeds? Is it checking the email to get a leg up on the day? Are you putting the news on? Are you going to your child? Like, what's the first action you take? Because that'll carry you into the next 7 to 8 hours of your day. And then to expand on that, what are you doing before you go to sleep? We hear this a lot, and I think there can be so much noise that we diffuse the power in it. And you know how I know that? Because I was one of those people.
Yeah.
But there is a reason that we hear this. And so I ask you, my friends, what are you consuming right before you go to bed? Are you notorious? Because Catherine, I have struggled with this. I still need to be aware of it. One more thing before I go to bed on the phone, one more action, one more email, one more thing I got to check. And what you are doing 3 minutes before bed is about to send you into your sleep. And did you know, Catherine, if you have a rough night's sleep because that anxiety is going, your brain's on motion, you're thinking about all the things, you are 40% more likely to misread texts or emails.
Wow. Wow. I mean, this is powerful. This is science. I mean, this is one thing people need to understand. It is based on scientific research. First of all, the brain has power that we have a tendency to ignore or misunderstand. I mean, literally, the brain believes what you tell him to believe or tell it to believe, right? And that's something that I training myself every day. I train myself, I meditate, and I tell myself a story how I want my life to evolve because my brain believes it. And guess what? Because we are energy, we attract exactly what we think about. But more than that, we attract how we feel. So we are a bundle of energy. We are a bundle of power. And that's what I love what you're doing, because I think you're taking that power and you are presenting it in a way that can be understood and embraced. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And I think part of our model and what we're doing at Unleash is really providing women with a framework. Many times we know what we want to do, but we don't know how to get there. And that's kind of where that leadership piece, ties in. Because if you're not thinking of yourself as a leader, you can often fall into victim mode. Leaders have to solve the problems even for themselves first. Leaders have to be the one that does it first, is the trailblazer. It's like the tall grass out in the forest. We have to chop it down with a machete and create the path. And so leadership is less about a title, it's more about character. And if you kind of put that together and say, hey, we can teach you how to get there. We can teach you how to actually make sustainable progress. But guess what? You can do it in micro moments. Then that boogie monster goes away. Then women are saying, okay, tell me what to do, because I don't have the capacity right now to do the big leap and the big thing. And that community of support around you really makes a difference to you getting to the finish line.
It does. It is critical because it's really easy to get overwhelmed. We are overwhelmed by anxiety right now because there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. But when you think of it, there's always been uncertainty. Nothing is ever certain. There's no guarantee for anything in the world. So I think we have nowadays more than ever to develop a certain perspective. And when you have guides or guidance to tell us how to tackle and develop that right perspective, that's a game changer. So let's talk about that, because the micro moments are creating those profound shifts in leadership, and you call it self-leadership. Can you expand on that?
So self-leadership comes first. Many people in today's workforce have the title of a leader and they are leading others, but they are not great leaders of themselves. They're expecting others to do things that they don't themselves even follow. And so for us in our model, that self-leadership is important because we want that awareness to be there to say, hey, you have a gap. And until you close those gaps, you will not get the same level of performance and outcomes when you're engaging with others. And so that's kind of that accountability piece that leaders need to take care of themselves and be accountable for themselves first. And so when you're talking about self-leadership, we're talking about your mindset, your perception, how you see yourself, and how you see yourself determines how you're engaging with others. because the victim engages with others as if they are to blame, right? Because the low self-esteem, insecure person is going to project that onto everyone else. And so once we get ourselves together, then we don't have to work that hard on being influential. People will want to follow you. They will want to respect you. And so we can't be sort of wanting to, in the workplace, I want to be respected. I feel like I don't have respect and they don't think, well, guess what? How are you leading yourself first? And so we couple that kind of framework and that mindset around it with what Megan is so awesome at, which is the micro awareness. Because the truth is, we all have those experiences that if we let them bubble up to the top, we may have a mental breakdown, right? And so there are ways in which we can cut back through the layers strategically to start to address and to start getting on a journey of addressing the things that have been holding us back this entire time. And so we walk them through in that self-leadership piece component of them starting their journey with us at Unleashed. We walk them through peeling back the layers in a safe environment where we're saying, you have to do it, but we're gonna try to do this in a way that meets you where you are. And Megan, break down a little bit, you know, when it comes to self-awareness, what you teach our Unleashed members.
Yeah. I'm going to get into that in one hot second, because I have to tell you, Dr. Brandi, as you're talking, and you, Catherine, about self-leadership and being the solutionist for it, especially as women, because we wear many hats. Did you know, I was just reading research on this, 65% of women professionals do the majority of domestic duties in their household. So you're working, isn't it? Yeah. You're working like 2-3 jobs.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm laughing because I have kids. I'm like, for sure I'm working because listen, Yep.
And I think one of the most, actually, you know what? No, I don't think I know. One of the most powerful pieces of Unleashed, and this, Catherine, I need to share this story because it is so important to me and it just shows the power in the micro moment acts. So how this came to be is I had heard Dr. Brandi almost a decade ago, y'all. I was so hungry for a tribe of women. I wasn't ever raised to be aware of who you stand beside and the power in it and evolutionizing it as you evolve, right? Evolutionizing your tribe, just standing in rooms I saw other people do. And there was one point in my career, Catherine, where I was resentful, I was exhausted, I was hitting all the checks, but I was just existing. Trying to make it through the day. And I met Dr. Brandi through this group of professional women, and I heard her speak. And that micro moment ask, I sent her a note afterwards, and I said, I love everything you're about, and keep going. And that had spurred a friendship, which built Unleashed, this community. That's the power.
Isn't that amazing when you have moments like that that actually shape your life? But you were aware of it. This is what's important too, right, Dr. Brandi?
I was going to say the same. I was saying that was a micro moment and a micro action, but it came from and was birthed out of self-awareness. Hey, my current tribe may or may not have this type of person in it. And you know what? I'm going to be aware of that. I think I may need, I think I may want to be around that. I think I need to be, and it's the self-awareness. So you took the words out of my mouth, Catherine.
Is your marketing making an impact? Are you reaching the right audience? Is your messaging truly connecting? Are you maximizing your return on investment? At Slice Marketing, we use AI-powered insights to fine-tune your targeting, optimize your messaging, design high-converting websites, and craft content that inspires, entertains, and educates, all to amplify your brand's impact. Sometimes a small adjustment can create big results. Let's chat, no strings attached. Email us at catherine.oaks@slicemarketing.com or visit our website. Yeah, and don't you think, for me, I was raised in France and very old-fashioned, of course. I was not raised to be empowered as a woman. I was, and I think it was unconscious in my family to probably communicate indirectly that men are superior than women. And because of that, most of my life, and I think, oh my God, how was I so stupid? And as a stupid, so unconscious. I really believed that men were superior. And therefore, everything I did was confirming that belief. And then eventually, after a certain age, right, this is where maturity has some benefits, I realized, why am I thinking this way? I'm actually smarter than most. So, I mean, is that something you faced? I'm sure a lot of women lack that self-confidence that they can actually do anything they want. How do you approach this? How you do embrace that, and how you start changing that type of mindset?
Well, I think one of the things that's important that we teach is what we call your leadership identity. You have to start to own and design your identity, because we all have, fragments of what our parents thought of us and what that teacher that didn't like you said when you grew up and the friends that used to tease you. I was bullied profusely during a couple good years of middle school. Was very rough for me, really by my own friends from elementary school, but we started going on diverging pathways, and I wanted to stay academic. I wanted to be, straight A's, and I wanted to do that, whereas everyone else wanted to be the cool kids, and I just didn't, keep up. And so that self-reflection is a part of building your new identity and owning that new thing, owning the new messages, the new values. And a lot of times we don't realize how dysfunctional our thinking is until we're around people that think differently. That's why it's important, as Megan talks about, to kind of curate that evolving circle that's around you, because you don't realize how maybe dysfunctional or toxic, even you are, or your current friend circle is. And so that's a part of it. Yeah, Megan, what you want to add to that?
Yeah. Oh, you're taking me to church over here, Dr. Brandi. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. So the first thing I wrote down as you were talking was the self-awareness. And as Catherine, you said, self-confidence, self-leadership, all of it. It sounds easy. It rolls off the tongue. But isn't that the hardest dang thing to do?
Yeah, very hard.
And listen, y'all, I'm 41. I have been preaching this intentionality framework for the past 8 years, and I'm still in evolution in it. Like, I'm still uncovering stuff. I was crying to Dr. Brandi last week about half this stuff that I'm like, how was I not even aware of this? So let's just get it straight that this is a constant evolution. No one has it all figured out. But I really think where it begins is this curiosity, the intentional language, being aware of what's happening in here, and y'all, I'm pointing to your brain, and allowing yourself, when those gremlins come in, oh my God, why do I have to fix everything? Oh my God, I'm so when that aggression comes in, or what are they thinking about me? Or I need to show up a certain way, or did I say that right? Whatever that is, to allow yourself, one, to be aware of it, and not just numb with the next quick hit, whether that's going to the email, whether that's scrolling the social feeds, whether that's buying something, whether that's getting a drink, whether that's getting yourself some cheese curls, like whatever hits the spot, to allow yourself to be aware. And then tangibly, now this is what has worked for me. This is not a one size fits all, but what has helped me tremendously is releasing my thoughts from pen to paper. Just releasing it when I catch myself so anxious. And so many people think you need to be a writer, like writing. It's not about that. It's who you get to know, you. Because the pen doesn't judge. Or maybe it's the fact you need to get some movement. So maybe it's allowing yourself to move your body for 15 minutes. Did you know walking for 15 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week by yourself in silence? Maybe you take your fur kids, maybe you take your kids to the park, whatever that looks like. That'll hit your body to the same degree as the highest forms of antidepressants. And you get clarity and you hear yourself.
I totally believe that. I mean, this is why I walk 1 hour every day. 1 hour. And I take my dogs, but see, I have to do it because otherwise I think I would lose it completely. And on top of that, not only is it good for my body, my mind, but it also develops a level of creativity that I would not have otherwise.
So, Catherine, I have to tell you, one of Dr. Brandi and I, our love language is voice notes. We will voice note each other all day long. And there are so many times that I will voice note her back to back to back. And I'll be in the car and I'll be like, girl, I'm in my innovation hub, my connection hub, the driver's seat.
Yeah.
That car time alone,
Yeah.
I get some of the best ideas. So I ask you, my friend listening, where do your creative ideas come? Because there's new research that says psychological detachment theory, you can check it out. Only 16% of innovative ideas come when you're sitting in front of the screen.
Isn't that amazing? But I do believe that. I really do believe that. Yet we feel that if we are not in front of our skin, we are not skin of our screen. Not in front of our screen, we're not productive. I mean, I think that's ingrained in ourselves because, and especially in the United States, I think we have been conditioned to believe that if we don't work 12 or 14-hour days, we are unproductive and unimportant.
Now, one of the things I want to share with you along those lines is an experiment, right, that Megan and I put ourselves through. We said if we're teaching women how to be, quote unquote, unleashed, which is a very powerful word, that's about action. That's about taking no prisoners, walking to the beat of your own drum with purpose, with focus, right? We said, how about we kind of do the experiment on ourselves? And so we decided to kind of base it off of this amazing book, 10X is better than 2X. And we said, let's start here and let's see if we can sort of 10X our outcomes without doing 10 times more of the work. And so we picked these areas in our lives where we felt a little stuck, where we felt like we wanted to do more. And literally in the first 2 to 3 weeks of going through this, we were getting more done, more ideas, more clarity than we would have, I would say, in probably 90 days. So from 3 weeks to 3 months, just by thinking smarter. The people say work smarter, not harder, but they don't tell you how.
Yeah.
And so what we realized is in a lot of the self-reflection that we had to do was that we were thinking small. We were playing small. And so if you want to get 10 new clients, then that's a certain strategy that you would use. But we said, hey, we may want 100 new clients. When you think bigger and you make the goal bigger, what it does is it limits the amount of routes to get to that solution. So it forces you on that creative thinking. So we got away from the computer, we got away from our devices, and then on the walk, in the shower, in the car, our brains were forced to do the work for us to say, how in the world are we going to solve this problem? And what we discovered at the end was that once we got over the fear, because you have to have the audacity to kind of 10X your goals.
Yeah.
And once we understood that we weren't 10Xing it for the vanity of it all, it was because of legacy. It was because we want to hire more employees, right? It had a tangible reason, because I think in this generation, sometimes people just I want to make $1 million and I want to do this, and it's vain. It's all vanity. When it's connected to your purpose in life, you're able to sit and execute and be committed on such a deeper level to the discomfort that will give you the newer outcome. And it's a faith walk, you have to just have faith, because it's something like, whoa, know. And the answer that came to us from that was that, wow, it didn't require us any more hours to get to the same amount of outcome. So you're right, we're socialized, we're trained, and we have to unlearn a lot of the truths that have gotten us to where we are today. Just to piggyback off of Megan's original story, for me, my story was being the quintessential overachiever as a child. I was the 8, 9, 10-year-old that already was kind of feeling like an adult in terms of responsibilities and the type of household I was in. And I was told and taught, even by society as well, that grades, your education is the thing that matters the most. So I internalized that, was straight A student, president of the student government, honor roll, perfect attendance, got the bachelor's, got the master's, got the Ph.D. before the age of 30, still felt empty. I impressed everyone around me but myself. Everyone was excited to introduce me as, oh, this is my friend Brandi, she has a Ph.D. And I was inside crying, going, this is horrible. I'm burnt out, I'm struggling. And when you think about it, there isn't anything externally that is going to give us any type of self-actualization or any type of official breakthrough in our lives. Everything is already in you, just needs to be addressed. It needs to be aligned with your purpose. And that is the core of what has really sparked something truly amazing at Unleashed. And we're already getting feedback from women saying, in the smallest things that I had to get off of autopilot, day in, day out in my schedule, I'm now more present with my children. I'm now more confident. And so, yeah, that's really sums up kind of even what, you talk about in terms of leadership as well, Catherine.
It is so critical. And the one thing that's very important is, first of all, I've learned with time, I don't care what people think of me anymore, because I've spent so much time thinking about, oh my God, what if I do this? What are they going to think of me? And then changing my route because of that. And I tell my daughter now, my daughter is 29 years old. I tell my daughter, please, you want to succeed, you want to be happy, you want to feel grounded and go after your dreams, just forget about what people think. It's none of your business. And I think once you understand that, it changes your whole life. And it also relaxes you a lot more, because my God, what a responsibility to worry about what others think all the time, right?
But we're socialized, my children early on, my son more so, when he was in kindergarten, first grade, I started to see him get performance anxiety. The teacher would say, when I ask him to answer a question in class, he's getting nervous. At home, when he would get an answer wrong for homework, he would start to tear up. And I broke that pattern of thinking for both of my kids very early to say, you are not your grades. You are worthy regardless of your performance on this. If you get it wrong, who you are didn't change in that moment. You just now have the information and data to realize that you have a learning gap, but what we do, to your point, is, what does the teacher think? What do our friends think? And it's ingrained in our public school systems and in our families. They don't know any better because they've been socialized as well. And so when you're taking a leadership stance over your life, you are creating the rules that work for you unapologetically. And one of those areas, I'm so glad you brought it up, is who cares what anyone else thinks? They're probably not going to be at your funeral. They're going to forget about you 3 to 4 weeks after you die. I hate to be morbid, but we're a lot of women listening, and a lot of people who subscribe to your podcast, regardless what their gender is, they are professionals of a certain age. At what point are you going to give yourself permission to live the life that will be fulfilling? As long as you're not hurting anybody else, let's go. It's go time. And so we want to inspire even late career seasoned professionals, the baby boomers. Your time is now. The Gen Xers, your time is now. We don't care what the global workforce projections say. It's time to unleash.
And you have seen, this is so true, and you have seen incredible success stories of people starting businesses in their 60s. I mean, really. And I think we're going to live longer now, because science and medicine just are incredibly growing and enabled to create medication, to create solutions a lot faster. My God, we have quantum computing coming to stage as well. So you have to think that your life does not end at 60, 70, or 80. I think we're going to live a lot longer, and that anything is possible when you believe it. So, my God, we could talk about this for hours. It's fascinating, right? So I want to know, tell me about the process here. How do people join? How much does it cost? What type of training? What's the process? I think that would be important to address.
Absolutely. So a couple of things, first of all, every single month, there are Unleashed events, most of which are open to the public. So you got to go on LinkedIn and follow the Unleashed Leadership page, brand new page. So we're getting our followers up, but our list has hundreds of women on them. Go to Unleashed Leadership. It's $97 a month. That is less than $3.50 a day. So imagine the opportunity cost there and the cost of missing out. How many more months are you going to go by feeling defeated, feeling like you don't feel comfortable in your own skin, wanting to break out but not having that support? So the value is there, hands down. And then the great thing is, we've actually had organizations reaching out to us that are getting bulk memberships for women in their workforce. And whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20 or more. And so we also have, and Megan can talk more about this, but giving back is important, our unleashed impact. And so we gift women. We go out and do these TikTok-like videos. We go to the mall, we go to the bookstore, we engage with women, and we gift them memberships online and giveaways. We have an event, our quarterly summit coming up. We're going to be giving away memberships. And so if you're tapped in with us and you need to get to a point where things are a little tight, hey, stay connected. You may just be blessed by the Unleashed Tribe, but if you really are in need of some immediate support, $3, less than $3.50 a day, you got to get in there. And what else would you say, Megan, about some of the value prop and some of the things that the women are saying that really sticks out to them about kind of what we offer?
As you were just talking about our impact and standing with each other, sisters united, and going back to the solutionist and loneliness in the arena, it can feel like I just had this idea and I didn't even check with Dr. Brandi, but let's do it. What if we gave the listeners of Leaders Uncut, the beautiful women listening right now, our signature, we have a signature intentional performance index, and talk about self-leadership, talk about self-awareness. This index, I like to say, is like a roadmap that says you are here and you don't need to do it alone. So what if we gave that to them for free?
Nice.
And you can all we want you to do is just email team@unleashedleadership.org. And our team will get you set up, because we are sisters in solidarity. And the only person that thinks you need to have all the solutions is you.
I love it. Thank you so much. What a gift. That is wonderful. We'll make sure to put in the comments area, in the video. Wow. Thank you. It's very much appreciated. Wow. I did not expect this, but that's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much. And that is so important. My God, you have addressed so many points. And I think one thing that it's important to emphasize is not just for individuals. It's really important for corporations to understand that they need to empower their women in their organizations. They need to allow them to fully expand their capabilities, because that creates power within an organization. And I see so much potential within that realm of, hey, first of all, develop that awareness that if you allow your women, or if you hire or engage women as to be part of your goals, it is known and tested that governments that have that 50-50 split between men and women are more successful in general. So you are also an enabler working with organizations to create that growth, to expand their capabilities with that mindset.
And you know what?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Megan. The future of work is now, and companies and organizations, they need to stop kidding themselves that they have the capacity to meet all the needs of their employees, and they take so long to be able to, the hours, the manpower to be able to do this. This is a turnkey solution, and it's multi-generational community. So you're talking about the young bucks, the millennials, the Gen Zers that are coming in, they're looking for this. And the ones that are seasoned are saying, hey, don't forget about me just because I'm a great performer. I keep my head down and I do the work. So we found that this has been a great solution for organizations that are saying, hey, we'd rather partner with the people that know how to do it the best than try to do it on our own.
Yeah, no, that's a very important point. So thank you. So we'll share in the comments on the video how people can connect with you. We'll share the website and everything, all the wonderful things you are doing. So thank you for that. That's really powerful.
You're welcome. And can I just say, can we give some final thoughts here,
well,
Catherine?
I
know you're in charge. You're in charge.
I was going to tell you. So I asked all my guests to share a story of resilience, because we all have life behind ourselves, behind us, that has taught us really critical lessons that are now helping us go forward in life with more positivity and more power. So we'd love to hear each of you talk about a story of resilience that you had to go through in your life.
Do you want to go first, Dr. Brandi, or you want me to hit it first? Oh, Catherine, girl, which one do I pull out of my bag?
I know, I'm sure.
I got a lot.
Yes.
The first one that is relevant to me in this moment and that comes to mind is, I truly believe if you want a better present, you got to have a bigger future. And how many of us just go through the motions, guilty as charged. And up until this unleashed innovation with Dr. Brandi, even though everything on the exterior looked like I was stepping out of my comfort zone, I had no idea how much I was playing it safe because I was getting the validation. And my biggest awareness of resiliency in this moment is to find the courage to evolve, even if it doesn't make sense to the people in your life, even if no one gets it, even if you need to step away from where you're getting the accolades into the unknown. And for me, that has looked like stepping out of what we were doing with the intentional living method, leaving it behind. To Dr. Brandi's point, 10xing is easier than 2x. It sounds easy, but it is so hard to leave that behind to go into the unknown. And it has been scary. It has forced me to face a lot of things about myself that I still have been uncovering. And what I know is this, my sisters and friends listening, it is worth every bit of the price of admission.
It's so beautiful. And thank you for the reminder. We forget that, but it is beautiful. And life is short. We have to think about that too. Life is very short. We think sometimes we have all the time in the world, but every moment counts. Every moment counts. Thank you. Beautiful story. Thank you so much. How about you, Dr. Brandi?
What I would say to kind of start this story, this example, is I saw a quote online that said we have to stop teaching our women to measure their strength by the amount of pain they can endure. And that was me. I don't know where I learned that from, but I learned that, hey, it's okay. This doesn't feel right. It's all right. It's okay, and it's like, no, it's not okay. And what happens is I experienced a death by a million cuts. I was struggling with perfection and trying to be perfect, because when this person doesn't like it, change how I am. When that person doesn't like it, change that. And when this situation, it's okay. And so I became someone who didn't know and wasn't aware that I was allowing myself to really be abused by low emotionally competent individuals, by jerks, by whatever you want to call it, and manipulators. And I started to become so resentful and angry, and I didn't know where that was coming from until I decided, in general, across all of my relationships, they will be mutually beneficial. Out of any type of career that I do, it will be something that is building me up, and we're I'm 40 as well. So when we came up in that millennial generation, some years back, about 10 years ago, millennials were getting a bad rep. They are they're ambitious to a fault, and this and that. So all of those things that try to send you the signal that it's not okay to ask for better, to ask for more. And so you don't want to be delusionally ambitious, right? But I think that for me, it was decades of having reinforced for me that you're not worthy. And I had to change my inner dialogue and said, I am, and be willing to lose every single person that's going to operate outside of that, every single opportunity. Being in business, even these last couple years, I distinctly remember 2 different clients. One was about $63,000 contract, $65,000 contract, and I fired my clients saying, no, because you're toxic. There's no amount of money in the world that you could pay me that's going to be worth the mental health issues that you're starting, right? And so that's what I would say in terms of resilience is like, on the point that it had to get me to realize that I'm actually worthy of just a basic modicum of respect, took way too long. And I want the listeners to understand that. From what Megan said, branch out, do the new thing, launch the business, launch the venture. And for what I'm saying to add to that is you're worthy of taking that step.
It is beautiful, and that's just such great advice, and so important for everyone to hear it and to assimilate it and to believe it. But I know for me, it's the same thing. At one point, I realized that how do I want to look at my life when I'm on my deathbed? And am I going to think, oh, maybe I should have tried that, and then regret I haven't tried? I never want to be in that position. I'm decided now to go for it. And what is it that I can lose? I don't care. Whatever is material, I don't care. As long as I have my heart and my soul and my passion for life, you can always bounce back. But what if you regret and if you don't take that chance and you live miserably a mediocre life all your life? Is that a way to live? No, it is not a way to live. Absolutely not. And this is what I love why you're doing what you're doing with Unleashed Leadership is you're building a safe community. And I think when you feel you are in a safe community, then you're more prone to taking action, to taking a risk, and to going after your life, your real life, not the fake life that people have designed for you that does not fit you. And I think because the earth is evolving, our level of consciousness is growing. We are going to be placed in a position where the same. So thank you so much for building that safe community. And like you say, it is a movement. And we need leaders like you to lead the way, to be able to embrace that movement so that we together we can change what we know right now. So it is a beautiful thing. And thank you so much for having had the courage to do it and for taking on that leadership that is so inspiring and so motivating and it's so beautiful to witness. It is an honor. It has been an honor to have the two of you today.
Thank you, Catherine. We appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, Catherine. Ditto.
Thank you so much. We will share all this information with everyone. Thank you again for this gift for all my viewers here. They are all going to enjoy it. Everyone, please share this video on your networks. I do share it on all my networks, but just like it is a movement with Unleashed Leadership, what I am doing with Leaders Uncut is a movement, and I cannot do it on my own. I need everyone to share, because when you have this type of inspiration shared by Megan, shared by Dr. Brandi, it does change the world. And by sharing, you can very well have a huge impact on someone's life without knowing it. So I need all of us, all of you, to be part of that movement, that together we can create a world that we actually can embrace and a world that we will truly enjoy, because that's life. Life is about enjoying what we are and who we are and what we do, and not act like robots because we've been told to do so. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.